I'm kind of in a rush right now, but I want to get this video filmed for you guys at least. So 3 disturbing true fake cop horror stories. This video is a little bit late, I apologize for that. Something got in the way and then I took care of that first, or did that first. And now here we are. So a little bit late because I'm filming this basically at, I'm filming this at like 1:06, so it's like only an hour after I normally upload, but it'll be uploaded probably a few hours after this. So 3 disturbing true fake cop horror stories. This one is honestly terrifying because I feel like this one is like, especially if they're in a police car and you're getting pulled over or something, and then someone just like the cop hits you or stabs you or tries to murder you or something, then it's like you can't really, like, you can obviously respond, but it's like, bro, like, you think that they're a cop, right? So it's like, what the fuck? Obviously you're gonna know they're not a cop at that point. They're just randomly trying to murder you, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's really scary because then like you have no idea what's even going on. We're gonna try not to pause too much because it's 1:06 and 1:07 now. This video is 18 minutes and I need to be free by 1:30, so I have a call, a work call to go on, training call.
This video is sponsored by Scent.
At least that'll get rid of some of the time for me. Like save me a minute or so. It saved me a minute and a half. We'll just look at that. Honestly though, I feel like at the same time it's like you should know if they're a cop or not, because then they're gonna have like, they're gonna be not built, so they're gonna be covered in uniform. And they're not gonna just be wearing like a random shirt like this guy in the beginning was. Like, you're gonna know that this is not a cop. Like, that's obviously not a cop. I'm sorry, that's not a cop. No, that's not a cop. No. No.
First month of
So, just saying, you should kind of know. If they're in a police car, they're not going to know until they get out of the car, unless they probably stole a cop car. Who knows?
My parents' house in
Shit.
My parents own a vacation home in Quincy, California. It's a 2-acre property surrounded by woods. We would go there as a family all the time when my siblings and I were kids. Now that we're all adults, we don't really have aligning schedules to go together as a family anymore. When I was in the early stages of talking to my girlfriend Rose, I told her about our vacation home on like our 5th date. In October, the leaves begin transforming to create stunning natural beauty in Quincy. I teased the idea of us spending a weekend there together, and she right away said let's do it. 2 days later, we were packing our things, getting ready for the road trip to Quincy.
Okay.
I picked her up from her house, and off we went. The drive there was about 5 hours. We passed the time talking about everything in life, from TV shows to family to child.
I feel like it's always fun going on a nice long car ride. I just get nervous because, again, like, it's a long car ride, the longer you're on the road. I've been watching, not recently, but I've seen a lot of like car accident videos. I don't know why, but I came across them once. I started watching them, and then I couldn't stop for some reason. I don't know how. Like, isn't that scary? Why would you want to watch people getting into car accidents? I don't know. But I was watching a bit of that, and yeah.
Childhood memories.
It's just nerve-wracking. Just because then, again, like what I was trying to say is longer the car ride, longer the chance you have of getting in an accident, and that's terrifying.
And podcasts to pass some more time. When we finally made it to Quincy, we drove through the cute little village first because I wanted to show her how nice it was there. 10 minutes later, we were at the house. We have a little wooden fence at the driveway that we leave closed whenever the place would be vacant. It doesn't have a lock or anything. It's just a little deterrent for people to not enter the property while we're there. I got out of the car to open it, and then we drove past it onto the property. My dad has landscapers come every couple weeks in the summertime into the fall, so the property was very well kept when we were there. Rose was impressed. We were there just in time for lunch, so we unpacked, I gave her a tour, and then I turned the hot tub on so that the water would be hot enough for later. Then we went into town to go to one of my favorite spots to eat. When we finished up, we did a little sightseeing and went to the Plumas County Museum. After that, it was starting to get dark out, so we headed back to the house. We relaxed in the hot tub for a while. The hot tub was on the back deck under the awning. It was really cold out, but it felt nice in the hot tub.
If this is like how it looks like, that's freaking beautiful though. That's great. That looks really good.
Until we both could hear the crushing of leaves nearby, like footsteps. We thought it was a bear, so we both jumped out of the hot tub and ran into the house. I turned off all the lights inside and outside, thinking the lights could be attracting a bear or some wild animal. I peeked out one of the windows, expecting to see a bear, but instead saw the silhouette of a human being walking along the side of the house. I ran to the back door to lock it and shut the blind on the back door window. I told Rose to be quiet. The footsteps circled the house until they got to the front door, then stopped. After a moment of silence, there was a knock at the door, and someone yelled, "It's the police." We were confused. I went to the front and said through the closed door, "Is there a problem?" The person on the other side said, "We got a breaking and entering call." I asked, "How's that possible? The nearest neighbor isn't for a quarter mile." There was a noticeable gap in his response. He said, "I just need you to open the door, sir." I responded, "Sorry, I don't feel comfortable doing that." I then thought to peep out the window and see if there's actually a cop car parked out front.
Exactly.
I kinked the blind to the front just enough to see outside. It was twilight outside, dark but with enough brightness still to make out the property and see no police cars out there. I said to Rose, "I don't think that's a real cop." The man outside knocked on the door again. I said through the door, "I don't see a cop car out there, so I don't feel safe answering the door." The man didn't respond to anything to this. When there was another moment of silence, we thought he already walked away. A couple minutes passed and we were still in the living room talking to each other. Then heavy footsteps clomped away from the door. He'd been standing there still the whole time against our knowledge. I went over to peek out the window again, but I didn't see anyone. He must have walked off a different direction from the house. The scary thought was, the house is surrounded by woods. He could come from literally any direction. We were definitely not going back outside again that night, besides me going outside real quick to turn off the bubbles in the hot tub. And from there, we stayed in the bedroom watching movies and eventually went to sleep. I kept my dad's shotgun from the closet under the bed. The next day we went hiking in Pluma's National Forest. Then we went out to eat, and then we went to see a movie at the nearby theater. When we got back to the house, it was getting dark out. We pulled onto the property, and Rose screamed, "Oh my God," and I damn near swerved the car thinking I was about to hit something. I slammed on the brakes and said, "What?" She pointed at someone quickly walking away from the house towards the woods until they disappeared into the darkness. I tried to keep Rose calm when she started freaking out that someone's stalking us. I told her it's fine, we have a gun, and we're leaving tomorrow morning anyway. I was kind of scared too, though. I pulled the car as close as possible to the house, then we quickly went inside. I did a quick run around of the house, making sure every door and window was locked. We didn't go outside again that night. We packed our things to be ready in the morning, and then went to the bedroom for the rest of the night. After watching a movie, we went to sleep. Around that time, I started hearing this weird scraping sound coming from outside. It happened every few seconds, and then it would stop for a few seconds. I couldn't make out what it was, but something was going on out there. I feared that person may have came back. I waited until the noises stopped completely, before quietly getting out of bed to not wake up Rose. I walked to the window, kinked the blinds just a bit, and found myself face to face with a man on the other side of the window trying to look in. He definitely saw me. I fell backwards and screamed, "Jesus Christ!"
Fuck.
Rose woke up. I didn't say anything though. I grabbed the shotgun from under the bed and made sure it was loaded before running out the back door and shooting it into the air while screaming like a madman, trying to scare off that man and whoever else could have been.
I feel like that would have done the trick. Like if like bro, if I did not do the trick and you came back, then you're stupid. I'm sorry.
Out there. I think I fired 3 shells into the air before going back inside. Then I explained to Rose what happened. In a strange way, I felt a nice adrenaline rush after going outside and doing that. Maybe that was partly why I felt so confident that whoever was outside wasn't coming back. The adrenaline eventually wore off. When we were back in bed, I was scared once again of hearing any kinds of sounds from outside. We made it through the night, and the next morning I did call the police just to file a report on the whole thing. My family and I have been back there a few times since this story, and thankfully that guy never came back. At least while we were there.
So I think they basically did everything right. Like they didn't really do anything wrong as far as I'm concerned. Could they have done? Yes, but they didn't, which is good. Like they didn't go back outside. He went out with his gun, did some warning shots. Which like sometimes that's all someone needs is a few warning shots, and then you're like, yeah, no, I'm not coming back there. You know what I mean? If they still came back and then you get shot, well, sorry, bud, you kind of got warned. So Alexis Franklin.
I was driving through Colorado in the middle of the night. I was in Tabernash at this point, and it must have been like 1 a.m. I stopped to get some gas and grab a snack at a gas station. After that, I got straight back on the road. Though there weren't any cars on the road at this hour, especially not the roads I was on, I still obeyed the speed limit because it was late, I was tired, and you never know where a cop could be hiding. I was going around.
I'm not gonna lie, I go like 10, 20 over sometimes. Usually 20 when I just go to the when it's already a fast road, and there's no cars, I go obviously faster because I'm either rushing to work or things like that. But that's obviously besides the point of the story.
55 on this winding road, and all of a sudden, that dreaded flashing of lights appeared in my rearview mirror. I looked in my mirror and saw the car behind me with the flashing white and red lights. So I pulled over, but not before looking at my speed and confirming that I was only going maybe 2 miles per hour over the speed limit. I pulled onto the side of the road, and so did the vehicle behind me. I was beyond annoyed. I'd never been pulled over before at the time, and I'm always a cautious and careful driver. I immediately felt like I was being pulled over unlawfully. As the officer stepped up to my car, I lowered the window, and he greeted me, asking for my license and registration. I tried to act like I know my rights and would not just bend over backwards for him. So I asked, "Is there a reason you pulled me over?" He said he'll get to that in a minute. I told him I know I wasn't speeding or swerving and none of my taillights are out, so I don't want to hand you my license if this is an unlawful stop. Then I took a look at his uniform. It looked off. He was in all black with a black vest on that resembled a police vest, but his vest didn't say police anywhere on it.
Nope. 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 You're not a cop. Nope.
His badge didn't say police either. It said criminal task force. He kept insisting for my license and registration, and I actually just flat out asked him, "Are you an actual cop?" He replied, "I'm part of the undercover unit." Then he asked for my license again. I asked him for his badge number. He said he didn't have to give that to me. I knew enough about traffic stops to know that was a lie. I also took note that his lights were only red and white, lacking blue.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say when he said wait, red and white, I was like, you mean red and blue? If it's white and red, no, that's not a cop. Red flags, literally all around. Nope, I'm leaving. Bye.
I wasn't 100% sure if this could be an indicator of a fake police officer, but along with everything else, it only made it more suspicious. The man started asking me to get out of the car. I said, "Respectfully, I'm not comfortable talking to you until you can get a supervisor here." He raised the volume of his voice and his tone got more assertive. As he repeated for me to get out of the car, I replied, "I don't think you're a real cop. If you are, you wouldn't have a problem getting your supervisor here." I rolled up the window a bit, and he didn't like this. He yelled at me to open the door as he put his hands on my window and tried unlocking the door.
No.
I pushed his hands off as I started the car and put it in drive.
Bye. Like cops wouldn't do that. Like I didn't do anything wrong. Like if I'm a criminal and I'm doing something wrong, okay, but like you haven't told me what I'm doing wrong. You can't identify yourself. You don't have police on you. There's no indication that you're a real cop here, and then you're trying to break into my car. Bye.
I heard him shout stop as I started flooring it away from him. My heart was racing.
Call the police.
By God, I was hoping I was right or I was going to jail. But at the same time, hoping I was right that this man was impersonating a cop showed just how terrifying of a situation I was in. As I was driving away, going the speed limit, I saw the car behind me with the lights on fast approaching. I did the only thing I could think to do, and that was to call 911. I told her on the phone that I was being chased by someone who I believed to be a fake cop. I said he refused to give his badge number, his car was unmarked and didn't have blue lights, and his uniform didn't say police. After asking my location and more details on the situation, I told her that I was being chased by this person. The woman told me the nearest police station for my location, which was the Fraser Winter Park Police Department.
Okay.
She requested I go there, and she would be dispatching an officer to meet me there. The guy in his car was following me halfway to my destination with his lights still on, but suddenly when we got to an intersection, he turned his lights off and turned right, driving off out of view.
Yep.
He was gone, and with that, I realized that my suspicion was true the whole time.
He's not a
I was
cop.
pulled over by a guy pretending to be a cop. I still drove to the police station, where there was a cop sitting in his car in the parking lot. I pulled in, and he got out, seemingly knowing it was me that he was meeting right away. From there, I told him every last detail of the encounter, the guy's face, his car, and what intersection he turned right at. He took down my contact information, I'm guessing in case I'd need to be called in to identify the guy. After a few minutes, I was on my way. glad I trusted my intuition and didn't get out of the car. I could only imagine where things would have went from there.
Smart guy. So honestly, these stories are pretty good so far. Like, no one's doing anything wrong so far. That's why they're still alive telling the story. Time check, 1:20. We're good.
29 years old. I live alone in my house in a small town in Michigan on the weekends. I come here to escape from the city lifestyle that I spent most of my life growing up in and am sick of. I like being in a quiet, rural area, but my house and property is the kind of place horror movies are usually set. A house with a big property and the neighbors not right on top of you. You don't hear of too
Bro, this is like the same car that we have. Like, same color, same. I was like, bro, this is dead ass our car. Like, that's our car right there, bro.
much crime usually in my town, but that's because the population is relatively low. I don't have a lot of friends in the area, but that's not why I come here anyway. I come to be alone and escape my stresses from work and people in general during the week.
That's fair.
One Friday, shortly after arriving at the house after my drive, I got a knock at the door. I opened it to a guy with a clipboard. Immediately I knew he was selling something. He asked me if I was content with my security system. I said I don't have one, but I'm not really interested, and I made a joke that no one's breaking into this ugly house. He then went on his pitch, telling of all the recent break-ins in the area that, quite honestly, I had not heard about. He then asked who I live with, and I said I live alone, so I don't really need it. He was persistent, though. He asked me to at least give him my phone number, and he'd circle back in a couple of weeks to see how I'm feeling. He offered to waive the installation fee. On the spot, I figured why not, that actually sounded pretty good. So I gave him my number. He thanked me and left.
Yeah.
After that, I went to the kitchen to start making dinner, and then I resumed watching Yellowstone in the living room.
I'm a bit iffy on
I
that
was on
one.
a binge, so I was watching episode after episode for hours on the couch. It was at about 11 o'clock at night that there was a knock at the door. 11 o'clock at night is beyond the appropriate hour to knock on anyone's door,
Facts.
especially around here.
Facts.
Not super close with the neighbors.
Oh yeah, because he said the neighbors are like far. Like, if that was the house right there, then there's bushes and trees and everything. I'm not opening that. Nope.
So I wouldn't assume it to be one of them. I ignored the knocking and kept watching my show. The knocks persisted, though. I still didn't get up. I wasn't answering the door at 11 p.m. No way. I
Smart.
stayed seated. But when there was a third set of knocks at the door, I grew concerned. They weren't leaving. I went to the door to ask who's there. There wasn't a reply from the other side.
I feel like you have to like know who it is. Like, see who it is. If you know them, great. If you don't, bye.
This is exactly how a horror movie would start out. I wasn't going to open the door to find out who was on the other side. I said through the door, I'm not interested in whatever you're selling me. I have a gun that I'm not afraid to use. I don't actually have a gun, but it's an easy enough threat to get someone to go away.
Smart.
I thought that did the trick because the knock stopped. I went back to the couch.
Thought.
Then someone started calling my cell phone. The caller ID said 911 Emergency Services. I'd never received a call from 911 in my life, and I didn't even think that was a thing. I always thought that if the police called you, it would say no caller ID or something.
Normally,
I
yeah.
picked up the phone, and a man on the other line asked, "Is this George?" To which I said yes. He said, "This is the police department. We have officers outside your house right now. There's been a report of a crime on your block, and we have some questions to ask you." This didn't feel right at all. I asked the alleged 911 operator to ask the police to go to the windows so I could identify them before opening the door.
Smart.
He said he can't do that. They're already outside my house, which
No.
made no sense. I said, "I don't answer questions, sorry," and hung up the phone. Even if it were the real police, I had no legal obligation to answer the door anyway. But this was screaming trap in every sense of the word. They tried calling me again with the same number. I denied it and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I actually decided to call 911 and ask if these calls are legitimate.
That's smart.
Right away, the 911 operator said it's absolutely not real. And coupled with the fact that someone was at my door, they advised I lock all the doors, grab something I could use as a weapon, and wait inside until a police officer arrives at my house.
The real one.
While I was on the phone with her, I heard the back doorknob being shimmied with, and someone trying to push the door open. They then apparently tried ramming or kicking the door down because there were these super loud bangs on the back door.
Fuck.
I told the operator this, and she said the police will be here in less than 10 minutes. I needed them now, though. I went to the door and screamed, "Do you want to get blown up?" And there was a yell on the other side saying, "It's the police, open up." followed by another ram or kick into the door.
Yep.
The back door is next.
Yeah, because you're gonna break into my house because you want to answer like ask me questions at 11 p.m. You want to ask me questions that you can't ask tomorrow morning. You couldn't have asked more in the daytime, 8 or 9 p.m. Even that's 9 p.m. is kind of pushing it, but 7 eight's okay, I guess. But
To a window, unlike the front door. So I looked out the window, and I saw two masked men attempting to kick down my
masked
door.
men. Yep.
When I say mask, I mean they had these disturbing-looking sacks on their heads. It looked like they had eye and mouth holes cut out.
Yeah.
They saw me looking through the window, and I guess they saw me on the phone. They must have realized I was on the phone with the actual police, and they took off into the darkness. About 5 minutes later, there was a knock on the door from the actual police. I let them in. One of the cops was very helpful, and he went as far as to search my entire property. The two cop cars out front with their lights on for half an hour was surely a deterrent for anyone to come back to the house. After the cops left, I noticed one of the cop cars stayed in front of my house for hours. I'm sure they left at some point in the night. I'm done opening the door to anyone unannounced, though, because I'm 99% sure that guy who was claiming to sell security systems was just scoping out the best house to target, and him and his squad were spoofing 911 calls to get people to open the door late at night.
That's crazy.
I went to my closest neighbors to ask them if the guy knocked on their doors too. They said no. For some reason, my house was the only one on this street targeted for this. I guess I was the first house they tried, and I seemed like an easy target.
It's 1:27, so I basically have no time to talk about this or read any comments, but that's what I mean. Like, honestly, it's really, if someone comes to your home trying to sell you a security system, just say you have one already. Even if you don't have one, just don't tell them you live there alone either. Security salesman door to door is a great way for criminals to case the home, and figure out which are easy targets. I'm amazed the person started who was smart enough to recognize the later trap, yet not realize how likely. Yeah, that's why when he said I gave them the number, I was like, yeah, huge mistake, having a security system. Oh yeah, true. That's also smart, because I didn't even realize that until now. Like, you don't have a security system, meaning that there's no security system, there's no security for your house. Right? I love how the person in the second story actually avoided the trap. Honestly, yeah, honestly, these people in these stories are actually kind of smart. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. They seem pretty smart here, because again, it's like, why would you, like, I don't know. Just a lot of red flags. I don't have time right now, but I may come back a bit later and talk more about this. Actually, I'll do that after. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. I'm still on a work call, but I'm on break for a little bit, so I may not turn this video recording thing back on, but I'm just gonna leave it, to be honest, because I don't feel like doing that all over again. But basically, yeah. So I'm on break for 11 minutes, so I'll be good to talk about some comments. But honestly, yeah, every story was pretty good. The only one that was kind of iffy was the last one, where he kind of gave the number to somebody, where it's kind of like, I'll tell you guys a quick story too. So it wasn't really much of a story, but I basically pumped up the tires in my parents' car, just because my dad was like, yeah, fill up the tires, so I was like, yeah, whatever. So I go outside, do that, and then I'm coming back inside, right? The car's still on, I just turn off the car, whatever. And this guy kind of comes, I'm on my driveway, right? So this guy kind of comes up to me, and then he's like, hey, how's it going? And at that moment, I really did not want to communicate with anybody. I was just like, I don't know if I was sad or tired or whatever the fuck I was doing, but I know for a fact I was not comfortable with talking at that moment. I was just too tired or too upset, or I don't know what the fuck the situation was. But I was just like, I do not care to speak right now. Leave me alone. That's kind of how my attitude was at that moment. So essentially, he's talking to me about helping the people in the countries that have war going on. So I'm pretty sure it was Ukraine, and helping kids, and kids dying and everything, which obviously I want to do that. Of course, I have no issues doing that, helping. Every year during Smile Cookie Week, I can't say that word. I don't make fun of me. I legitimately cannot say cookie sometimes, because I don't know what's in my head. I just can't say it. Cookie. I just said it three times. But sometimes I can't say it. So cookie. So Smile Cookie Week in Canada at Tim Hortons for a week. I always get cookies, and they all go to charity, so I get literally 20, 40, 60, 80, 80. I'm just gonna say smiles. Smiles means smile cookies. It's called a Smile Cookie, but I'm just gonna call it smiles, because I generally can't speak ever. I've never been able to say that word. I don't know why. Cook, I can say cook. I can't say cookies for some reason. But whatever, speech impediment issues. So essentially, I basically did not want to at that moment, and I was just like, yeah, like of course I want to help. Like again, the smiles, I buy like 80 smiles a year. Sorry, 80 smiles within that week. I get 12, I get 12, I get 12, I get 12, and then I give the smiles out to others. So they're not all for me, obviously, because I can't eat that many smiles while I'm buying so much, because it all goes to charity. 100% goes to charity. So if it's $2 each and I buy 80, that's already $160 towards charity. That's why I buy a lot. Every single year that there's a smiles week, then I get a lot. And I'm pretty sure the smiles week is coming up soon. Smile Cookie Week. It started in 1996 to help raise funds for the Hamilton's Children's Hospital in Ontario. Okay. So that's basically what it is. Like, helps raise funds for the Hamilton Children's Hospital in Ontario. I live in Hamilton, so not only there, I assume it's, But basically, when buying a Smile, a baked daily Tim Hortons chocolate chunk cookie, hand decorated with a blue and pink icing smile, guests help give back to the local community. 100% of profits, $1.50 per cookie, are donated to over 25 charities selected by local Tim's restaurant owners. So that's why I buy a lot. Like, I buy a lot for that reason. So again, basically, the whole point of me bringing that up is not because I don't want to help. It's just that I don't know if it's a scam. So he kind of came out to me, yeah, fill out your information. I was like, no, sis, I'm good. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want you guys calling me. I don't want you guys bugging me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, my cat says hi. My pillow should be over here, but I was lying the opposite way. I have a few minutes left to break, so I'm good. But basically, yeah, like, so for me, it's just like, of course I want to help. It's just that I don't want to be scammed. Or if someone asks for money, I'm like, of course I want to help you. But it's like, are you going to scam me out of money? Or are you going to, like, I've been scammed out of money before. And things like that. That's why it's just like, I don't really fuck with that shit no more. Like, I want to give money to someone that needs it, that deserves it, that requires it, right? So, anyways, basically going back to the comments. Story 3, huge mistake admitting you don't have a security system. I didn't think about that before, but basically, yeah, like, it's like, if you say you have it, it's like, great, they can leave you alone. But if you say that you don't have it, then the two things, they're going to pressure you to get one for their scam or whatever, or they're going to try to convince you to get one or whatever, if they're real. If they're not real, you basically just gave away that your house has no security, or safety, for that matter. Regarding something like story number 3, a friend I'd gone to high school with and later became a police officer told me the common saying for burglaries he learned: if they come during the day, they come for your stuff. If they come during the night, they come for you. Damn. That's honestly kind of scary. But it's true. If they come during the day, you're not going to be home in the daytime because you're at work, school, God knows what you're doing. Everybody's busy, everybody has lives. Or you're asleep, maybe if you're night shift like I do. They come for your stuff. If they come during the night, they come for you. That's honestly kind of scary, though. That's scary. A little tip: if someone knocks on your door claiming to be police, always ask for their name, badge number, and what department they're with. If they give you a department name, search into the department and ask the dispatch if they had sent an officer to your home for whatever the supposed officer said they were there for. Honestly, that's pretty smart. If you ever have any, like, suspicions for that, then it's like, yeah, like, they're not going to come to your house at 11 p.m. asking you to get basically information about, like a break-in enter. It's like, what? I didn't call you guys. Like, get out of here. It's kind of scary whenever you're pulled over by someone, you think it's a cop, but it turns out it's just a creep. Exactly. Then it's like, bro, like, that's not okay. I know 20-year-old is young, but honestly I'm baffled sometimes at how people are willing to give out their information to strangers. Do you have a security system? Yes. Which one? I'd rather not say. Do you live alone? No. Who's with you? Several people. That's pretty good too. The guy in the last story is very naive. If a stranger shows up by your door selling security systems, you lie and say you already have one. That's a trick question to see if you're an easy target. Smart. I never even thought of that. And I'm in security. And you never confirm that you live alone or are alone at that moment. Exactly. Like, you always say, yeah, there's a lot of people with me. Like, this house is huge. I have like 7 bitches in there. You know what I mean? Like, alone and I have no security system. I should have caught that in my head at the time and saying, what the fuck? You just gave away your whole like sense of security. None. Damn, Ross Creations is part of the streamer. Scary Stories is something I never thought I'd see. I'm kind of confused, but sure. Absolutely nobody makes horror videos like Mr. Nightmare. The deep voice, the sound effects, the background music. I honestly like it so much. It's just perfect. I can't get enough of it. I don't want my phone turn back on for the call. It's 2:21. They shouldn't be. No, we're still good. We're still on break. When you have seconds, the police are minutes away. Honestly, true. That's so true. And anytime you need police right away, oh, a few minutes. I can't wait a few minutes. I can wait a few seconds. That's it. It's refreshing to see storytellers who actually have common sense in Mr. Armor videos. Also, the third story sounds like it could be an elaborate scheme. Again, the last story I've learned, thankfully not the hard way, just through advice from others. You never tell strangers that you live alone. And the security systems question, even if I don't have one, I'll definitely say I'll get one. I'm not interested in another one. Never tell people you're unprotected. Very, very, very true. So for me, it's just like, yeah, like, again, those people that came to my door, like, are you interested in this, I'm like, not really. Because even if you are donating this stuff to Ukraine or something, then it's like, how do I know that? How do I know that? So, and he was honestly pretty persistent too, like for 5 whole minutes. 5 minutes does not seem like a long time. But if you're generally there for 5 minutes, and then it's just like, bro, like, when we do some kind of like testing at my work, I mean, at my college that I work at, then it's just like, bro, like you literally feel like 5 minutes is a long time. Like, it shows you how long 5 minutes really is. If you're rushing or if you're in a hurry, 5 minutes goes by just like that. But if you're just sitting there chatting, 5 minutes is a long time. So for me, bringing that up once again is basically because that's how long he was actually speaking for, maybe longer, and I was just like, bro, like, I'm not interested, like, I'm sorry, I want to help, but I don't want to help right now. Like, it's like, I don't want to help right now. Plus, again, at that moment, I was sad, I was depressed, I was tired, I was just not in the mood at that moment, so that's why I was kind of like, bro, I just can't. So anyways, that's basically what I have to say to these comments. That's all I got for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys liked it, be sure to give it a like. Comment down below all your guys' stories. If you guys have any concerns, questions, let me know and I'll answer them or reply to them. I'm about 2 minutes away from being back from my work call, so I will see you guys later on. Thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces, peace. And sorry again for today's late upload.